What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass cylinder breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams. I've messed up every intro this week, so definitely continue to tune in, even though I can't get it right. With me, as always, is Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And then returning co-host, we have Daniel Acevedo.
How's it going, guys? Let's go.
What's going on? Yeah, man, it's been rough for me. It's like my brain dimmed for a second, and then I came back. So it's been a rough week. Definitely don't take this as normal, right? Usually a well-oiled machine, but definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are topics if you haven't already seen those. Wednesday is a discussion. Then Thursdays we have the Ask CISSP. Last week was Kane McGladry from Hyperproof. He is their field CISO. Very good conversation on the future of GRC, the integration of AI where it shouldn't be used, the evolution of the CISO because of all of the new legislation that's coming down, SEC rules and things of that nature. And then this week we should have on Chelsea Pierre, so talk about all of her upcoming initiatives. We've had her on the show 2 or 3 times. She's one of the original guests of the show, and then she also was a co-host for a week. So definitely go back and check all that stuff out, and I'll have links to all the above. And then we have a newsletter, which is actually doing pretty well. So we have over 1,000 subs. It drops on Fridays. Unless I make a mistake and I drop it. Sometimes I post a little bit earlier than I'm supposed to because it defaults to newsletter when I'm writing an article. I'm working it out. The production team is being fired as we speak. All right. And so that drops every Friday, and it wraps up all of the episodes in one neat little package. And then check us out on, like I said, YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe. We're trying to get our subs up to 500. I think we're like 370 something right now. When you hit 5, you get access to more tools. When you hit 1,000, you start to monetize your episodes. So the goal is for it to start paying for itself, right? We have over 570 something episodes, and we're making some really good traction. So please continue to like, share, subscribe us, all that good stuff. Share us with your nerdy friends. But without further ado, how was you guys this week? Like, what'd you guys get into? We'll start with Shannon, because this is the everything else episode. So if you came in for cyber, you got to go back to the other 4 episodes. This one's everything else where we unwind. So
I was out for a couple of weeks, just traveling home to see family and whatnot, and so I haven't done a lot of watching or anything. But a couple of things I did catch. So I caught up on Invincible. I don't know if you guys watch Invincible.
Oh,
yeah, I love it, and I'm hoping this wasn't the last episode. So this past week,
that was the finale.
Was it the finale?
That was the season finale. Yeah, really? Left me wanting so much more.
Yes, I thought it was going to be so much more coming from that, but okay. Oh man, well that makes sense on why they didn't have one this week. But yep. I like it. I love that show, man. Like when it was starting out, I was like, okay, well, for the second season, I was like, well, it's not going to be that great. And then it ramped up, right? And then they had that break in there, which you said was, I can't remember if it was one of you guys or somebody else told me it was because of the writer's strike. They had that break.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah. It impacted their workflow, but I think they said they've ironed it out, so episodes come out quicker.
Okay. Well, now we got to wait a whole another year or whatever, right? If that was the finale, like I was like, it was getting to the point where I was like, oh, this next episode is gonna be off the chain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when I saw
it will be in 2025.
yeah, in a year, you know what I mean?
Right.
Look, when I see that they have the advertisement out for the next season coming, I'm like, all right, let me go back and watch and make sure I remember everything as it was. But, that was a good episode. The way they ended it, but I was like, okay, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
So watch that. I watched a comedy special. Neil Brennan. I don't know if you guys know who Neil Brennan is, but he was the
I started it.
Of Chappelle.
Yeah, I started it.
You didn't like it?
I started too late. It's one of those things where you don't like. I do like. I'm going to watch this at 11 p.m. and then I didn't. Netflix was watching me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This one is hilarious. I like his comedy, but this is probably the funniest one I've ever seen him do.
Okay.
He's got 3 or 4, I want to say. But yeah, he's the co-creator of the Chappelle Show. So he was Chappelle's writing partner. But he's been a lot in the background. He's a very funny dude. I don't know if you ever saw when Chappelle got the Mark Twain Award.
Yes.
It was the Mark Twain Award, and they did the comedy special, and he had his little bit on there. It was hilarious, man. But that was pretty good. But that's kind of it. When I got home from traveling, it was just kind of catching up on work and stuff around the house. You know what I mean? I didn't have a lot of watching. I still ain't played no video games lately, man. I will probably never finish Horizon. I will probably never get the DLC.
One day.
God of War. Like, I mean, I still got them. They haven't been deleted off the hard drive or anything, but I'm just not. I have not brought myself to do it. Right? Like, I've forgotten the controls for both of those games now. Like, I'll have to get in there.
Oh yeah, definitely Horizon.
Yeah,
you'll fall right back into God of War, but Horizon,
okay.
Yeah. So I was off of it until the DLC dropped, and then I jumped on it, and it was like riding a bike. I was like, oh yeah, I got this. I'm flipping through weapons because it makes it more like, you'll see. Like they make you utilize different things as you go through your runs or whatever, because they make it a roguelike situation. I think you'll really enjoy it, and it has lots of story baked in as you progress through it. Like the whole point of these games is to die, come back, be better. So once you get past that understanding of it, like, they're great games. But Horizon, you got to start from scratch.
I might have to. I might have to delete that off of there and just be like, all right, don't do it. Just watch. I'll watch a YouTube wrap up or something and be like, oh, okay, all right. Because I know I'm right there. Like, I'm at a point where everybody needs to meet at this campfire so they can go into this. And do it. I'm like,
right there.
I'm like, okay, yeah. Actually, I think it even told me there's no going back past this point or something like that.
And I appreciate that. I love when games do that. Like, don't surprise me where I can't go back. Like, just tell me. Like, because I know I'm playing a video game. Like, you don't have to. You can just on the nose. Like, you may want to do all this other stuff because you're about to go into it.
Yeah, but that was pretty much it for me for the last couple of weeks. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Like this last week and a half. Hopefully, the next time I'm on, some breaking news for all y'all. I have big life things coming on, but yeah, just been a lot of grinding professionally in my side. But yeah, I got caught up on X-Men 97, which is, if you haven't watched it or if you like the mutants and the Marvel kind of world, X-Men 97 is so well done.
Crazy, right?
Oh my god,
the
it's so
first two
good.
episodes are so deceptive.
Yes,
it's like more of this.
It's okay, and then after the third one, you're just like literally hooked. It's like I can't stop watching it. I didn't know they even came back from break, and somebody messaged me. It's like, oh, did you watch the new episode? And no spoilers. I'm not gonna tell you guys what happens, but I was like, no, I did not. And I had to jump on and watch it at that moment. Besides that, yeah, just work, hanging out with my kids, and just kind of like preparing for new big life moves, and hopefully everything pans out. And then next time I'm on, I can tell you all about it. What about you, Ryan?
So just again, trying to get everything situated with the podcast, trying to streamline it, because now it's starting to bubble over and take up more time. Not because of anything that's the podcast's fault. It's just as I learn new tools, I go down the rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like, no, you can just make what you're doing better.
Yeah.
Stop adding stuff. So I just get streamlined, right? The whole process is for me to adopt these tools to be more streamlined. So I think this week I'm going to actually make that happen.
Nice.
Last week I did not. Like, episodes were going up late. Like, they were good, right? But I was just I kept adding. I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. So this week I'm going to do what I did last week and add nothing. Just keep refining that process. When it came to family stuff, really just hung out. We didn't really do much this past week. I want to see that movie Civil War, so I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the missus to go with me. She probably won't, so I have to get Junior to go with me. But I want to see it in theaters, just because how big I think it's going to be, right? Bombastic, with stuff blowing up and things of that nature. And then, like you said, I caught up on X-Men 97, so I saw that episode you're talking about, episide 6. So I'm very interested to see where they're going from here. But 4 and 5, crazy.
So let me ask you something. So you guys are caught up. Ryan, you told me, hey, I gotta get into it, right? By that time, I had watched 3 episodes. I tried to watch the 4th. I didn't finish it. Like, that was the Montendo or whatever it was. Or
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do it. Like, I could not. I don't know. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, it might not be for you. Like, it took me by surprise. I didn't expect for them to get so dark, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like,
weird and dark. Yeah, weird and dark.
It was like, what's going on here? And it's all canon, right? So like the 97 will be part of whatever phase they'll adopt or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how they're gonna make all this stuff feed into all the other stuff, right? The what if and all that other good stuff. I'm pretty interested. And then there was something else I watched, and so like we talked about Fallout, so I watched all of Fallout. Amazing.
Good
When
as
I
well.
put in the newsletter, it was so good, right? That was like one of the best game to small screen in this case adoptions, right? So like The Last of Us, even though that wasn't Shannon's jam, like it's critically acclaimed. But this one I think might be more of your jam. Like you don't have to. Like I'm not a Fallout guy. It makes me want to go back and play those games now, but I know I don't have the 100 hours to sink into it.
Yeah.
I've never finished the Fallout game. I get past the intro, I get into the wasteland, and then I'm just like I'm out.
Yeah.
Because it's just too big.
So why do you think the series would be better then? Like if you
because it gives you a story. Like so like Fallout usually has a bigger overworld story, but you are the vault dweller, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to create I used to hate those choose your own adventure books when I was a kid. Like, no, tell me what the story is, as opposed to, and that's what it does, right? It gives you 3 protagonists and you follow their story through the wasteland. So I think that's more approachable than, hey, here's the vault door opens, go out to the wasteland and make your own narrative. I just can never get down with those. I really want to, but I just wish they would. I wish there would be a single player version of that where I actually do play as a character, like your Final Fantasy and your Horizon.
A little bit more linear. Yeah, a little bit more linear.
Like tell me who I am and what I'm going to be doing. So I think it was cool. Like in the first episode, like they pretty much give you all the stuff you need to understand the universe, and then it goes off there. So I think they do a really good job of making it short and concise. The humor is very Fallout. Obviously the sets, like they did an amazing job with the sets. Like it looks very, like you can tell the people who put it together actually cared about the license. It wasn't a Halo. Halo is getting worse and worse the more that you see these other things. And it's just like, like just reboot it, start it over, like cancel what you currently have going on and just do it again.
Even the second season, I thought the second season was getting better. I haven't watched it, but
better, but it was such a low bar. And then you see stuff like this, and you're just like, like, because they're both Microsoft properties now, right? Like Microsoft owns Bethesda. They gave it to Prime to do the thing, and they did the thing. They gave Halo to was it Paramount, and they did not do the thing. They did not do a good job. So I think that they'll actually look at the two of those, and maybe it has a following, and people keep up with it. The Halo series, that is, but I think they'll look at like what's been done with The Last of Us, with Max, what's been done with now their Fallout property, and they were like, maybe we should put this in somebody else's hands and try again. At least that's my opinion.
Was that you that sent the meme of, I think it was like a Simpsons fight, and it had HBO Max, and it was like, this is how you do it. It was like terrible.
It's terrible, and nothing against the actors. They're doing the best they can with the material that was given to them. It's just, I don't know. It feels even more low budget now. Like it's just, they didn't do it. Because I was worried about, there's a God of War in the pipeline. It's going to be by Prime, and I was like, oh, that's going to be terrible. But now I've just seen Fallout. I'm like, they might do a good job. They might be able to put it together. Because I was like, who do you cast as Kratos? What story do you tell? Because we've seen him through 2 different pantheons, mythologies, right? We've seen him, attack these gods and attack those gods. I'm like, what do you do with that? And now after seeing Fallout, I'm like, I'm gonna give him a chance. Like they might actually be able to do it. And there's another property that's getting an adaptation. I can't remember through who, but shout out to Amazon. Like I'm really impressed with what they did, and it also goes to show their acquisition of MGM Studios, because I was like, that's not a good move. Actually, no, like they're doing some good products. So I mean, I'm gonna have Prime regardless because of the shipping. So it's nice that they did this as well, right? And gave me something where I binged it. And Prime, like, so, and I'm gonna not stop rambling about Fallout shortly, but Prime does this thing with all their first seasons where they give it all to you. They're like, boom, here you go, you can binge it. And then the second season, they give it to you weekly. Oh, don't do it to me, Prime. Don't do it to me. I don't want to watch it weekly. And I've seen so many articles come out where people are like, not upset about it, but they're like, this would have been great to have as a weekly thing where we can go to the water cooler and talk about it.
Yeah.
And they are right. There is something to that where every week you anticipate the show and then you talk about the show and it builds. But I work from home. I don't have a water cooler. All right, just give me all the things. Because I 5 in one day and then 3 the next day, and I was done. I was like, that was great.
I'd still rather have the binge thing, right? Because when it comes to the weekly, and you bring up a good point, right? Like we don't have a water cooler, we have a water filter, right? But
Right.
same type of thing. We have a big gallon filter that we run our water through to run through that filter because we know that we're going to be the next Camp Lejeune at one point. Right?
Yeah.
But, no, I'm serious. Like we've had like water main breaks, and we've had stuff to where like you have to run the water forever for it to get good again. But neither here nor there. But we'll be discussing it, and we're like, oh, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. And as we're talking about it, we're like, oh, those are good ideas, and it never comes to fruition. So I'm waiting a week, thinking something good is going to happen, and then it doesn't. And it's just like, what a waste. You know what I mean? Like, I just let me binge it, and then we'd be like, how far are you? Right? Like, wait for the when you catch up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. It's just I'd still rather binge it. I don't need the water cooler talk or any of that because I'm coming up. I feel like I'm coming up with better storylines than these writers and these directors, right? You know what I mean? So,
but yeah, I would say for you, Shannon, I think the first episode was spot on, but
it's good.
Maybe give it
this is Fallout we're talking about.
Yeah, it's Fallout.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the first episode, if you're not going to be hooked by the first episode, I think it's not for you. But I'd give it 2. I always say give it 2, just to make sure.
My standard is 3. So my standard is I'll give it 3 unless like it's really bad. Then I'm like,
right.
Like X-Men 97, like I kind of like the way it started. Like it started out like I was like, oh yeah, and we talked about this, right? Like Cyclops ain't no punk no more. You know?
Yeah.
They went too hard with Cyclops. I was like, he's a Cyclops fan. Like now he's jumping out of planes. I respect it.
It's crazy. It was crazy, but then it really went down for me to where I was like, man. Then you were like, no, you got to keep watching, and I couldn't even get through that next episode. I was like, all right,
4 and 5, man. Like I don't know, but it could be like again because I was so into it. Like the third one, I was like, that's real interesting. I wonder where they're going with this. And then 4 hit, I was like, oh, I gotta see 5. And then 5 hit, but then 6 is slower because they need to explain some stuff to you. And that's usually what happens after like a big something, right? They're like, oh, let's slow it down, break it down to you. So I'm interested to see where I guess it'll be what 8 to 10 episodes probably in the season.
Probably, yeah.
So we'll see, but I would say if the third one you couldn't make it through, maybe it's not for you. But if you do a quick recap, you get to see what happened in 4 and 5.
That's true.
For your own edification, right? So
I was about halfway through 4. That's the video game one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jubilee video. Yeah. I was like, I'm not feeling this. I'm just not feeling it.
But that was his thing, though. When from the original animated series, right? He did reality TV with people. That was his whole thing. Was that's his I don't know, his MO. Yeah, that's where he gets his power from. Because remember, he was skinny at the beginning. he was starved. But we'll see. We'll see if you make it. But I wouldn't be heartbroken if you didn't. Like I'd be more sad if you didn't like Fallout, because I think Fallout, like they do a really good balance of not necessarily serious, but it's like the theme is serious, and then the interactions are just hilarious. Like when she runs into people in the wasteland, you're just like, yo.
You're way more into the dystopian than I am as well, right? Like
that is true.
It's not that I avoided. Go ahead, Dan.
Right. But it doesn't start dystopian though. That's the thing. They actually give you background.
Yep. Real world. But yeah, it's very dystopian though. I was gonna say like that's Fallout's MO. If you don't like that, you don't like The Last of Us, or that kind of like this thing happened in the world and now the rest of humanity is trying to like survive it afterwards, then it's probably not gonna be for you. It's still good though.
I'm fine with that if people are getting shot up and stabbed up. Yeah, I'm all for it.
It is very gory. Like
it is, surprisingly.
The game is very gory, right? So I was like, they can't adopt all of that because then it just wouldn't be maybe palatable. But no, they went full in. You're just like, oh.
I was surprised. I was like, damn.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, we'll see what your thoughts are. Like check out at least the first episode. You might be like, all right, I'll give it a few more. I think, like I said, I made it through 5 the first night, so I think if you watch the 3, I think you'll push through the rest of the season. But we'll see. You might be like, nah.
No, I don't know. Like I said, I'll give it 3. Did any of you watch the second episode for Rebel Moon or no?
Not yet. I saw it
No.
pop up.
Yeah.
I thought I thought part 1 was pretty good, but I was just like, just let that man make a Star Wars movie. That's what he really wants to do. That is what this is. Like, I was like, he made, like, if he made a Star Wars movie, it'd be more like Andor than episodes, 4, 5, and 6. So just let him make a gritty Star Wars flick, and because that's what he wants. Like he basically just gave you one.
So somebody that's a big Star Wars fan that I know reached out to me, and they were like, this one is better. Because for the first one, I was like, I needed more action. It had action, and the action was good when it happened, but I needed more of it. And he was like, there's way more action in this one. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's probably going to be like the dude at the end of the first one. He's probably gonna come back with a vengeance. Like, no, y'all not gonna do me like that. You know what I'm saying? So he's probably taking no prisoners. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, because I was surprised that I'm not going to spoil it, but the end of the part 1 was like your Invincible moment. I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, because I was ready. I was like, this is where it's about to go down. They're like, nope. But they turned around fast. Like, I thought it was going to be like 2025.
Yeah, it was very quick.
So I was very, very pleased by that. I don't know if I'm getting in this weekend, but I'm going to get it in sometime before the next episode, I think. Because I think he did a really good job. And again, like, I'm not a Star Wars fan. But I like Rogue One. I like Andor. Like, I like the stuff that doesn't involve Jedis, right? The gritty street outlaw stuff. I really do enjoy, and that's pretty much what he captured here. Like, there's no force powers. There's people just getting shot up. Like the bar scene, I was like, oh, like they were getting at it. So very, very excited to jump into that one. And then I did actually get Final Fantasy time, and I'm at 21 hours now.
Nice.
And it's addictive. Like, the way that they break down the overworld, like, you have different regions, and in those regions you could just go through it and not really do much of the side stuff. You could mainline it, right? But they gamified the side stuff enough where, like, I am striving for 100% before I move on to another region. Like, because it gives you a lot of background. Like, they do a good job of interweaving story that you don't necessarily need, but because I'm a fan of the series, I'm just like, okay, you gave me the main event, and then as I go through the side stuff, they're opening up stuff that like lore and stuff, like where they fleshed out the world more than they did in the original Final Fantasy VII. So I'm just like, this is pretty good. And it looks amazing. So and then the mechanics, like, there's so much variety in the mini games, it doesn't get boring. So I'm really enjoying that stuff. I think I've almost 100% of the first area. I've already opened up the second area, but that's when I started to figure out it was gamified, because I just moved on. Like, I did all the stuff in the first area, I moved to the second area, and then when I was in the second area, I was like, oh, it's kind of like that whole Assassin's Creed. Like, you hit towers, and those towers open up your view of the world, and you find new objectives. And I was like, I didn't do any of that in the first region. I wonder if that was even there. So when I went back, I was like, I missed all that. I was like, okay, I need to focus and knock out this first region. So I'm really digging it. This is going to be a 100-hour event.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm at 21 and I've barely done anything. So it's going to be the rest of my year.
And that's not your jam. Like, you're like, I'm going to mainline it. Let me get to it and see it. But
I'm really enjoying it. But it's my favorite game of all time. So.
Right, but the properties you love, you don't have that issue with. So, like, you play any type of Zelda, you're like, yeah, I'm doing everything. You know what I mean? I'm not mainlining it. Final Fantasy, you admit it, hey, it's my jam. You know what I mean? So
Horizon, I'm trying to get through that thing as quickly as possible. But so I started playing that, and there's a bunch of indie games that popped up that I'll eventually get to, like Dave the Diver is now on PSN. It's one of those games where it has two halves. Like there's a game called Moonlighter, right? I played. Moonlighter is you're the owner of a shop and you sell your wares to travelers who are like adventurers and things of that nature, right? You sell them weapons, you sell them supplies and tools. It sounds really boring. It's like a shop management system. But where do you get your materials from? Is at night you go and you hit the dungeons yourself. So you're a dungeon dude. You're going through and you're slaying these beasts and stuff like that. And as you collect all those materials, you then sell them in the daytime to the travelers who are also about to go through the dungeon. So it's got that unique dynamic to it. And I really enjoyed it. It's one of those Switch games where you can just play it in the comfort of your own bed, right? I played the mess out of it in Turkey, didn't beat it, and then when I came home, I didn't have time for it. So I'm just like, do I want to go back to that one? It's kind of older. I'm gonna forget all the mechanics, got to start over. Or now that they've made Dave the Diver, which is the same thing. Like your Dave is a sushi like restaurant type dude. So he chops up all the food and he serves the people, but he dives into the depths to get the fish and stuff like that. And they have like crossover stuff like Godzilla's in it, and like it gets a lot deeper, right? Because the ocean is his dungeon. He goes down there and he, fights monsters and stuff like that, and then he comes up to the surface and he serves it to the people.
It's fun.
Very interesting. Yeah.
So if Godzilla is in it though, like how does he survive? Like Godzilla ain't died yet.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how that works out. And then is Godzilla sushi? Because Godzilla's a lizard, but Godzilla also breathes underwater.
Yeah. I don't see
category.
what's
What's the category for Godzilla? Is it the fish? Monster. Is it a lizard? What is it? But no, so I'm interested in that one. So I think when I get to the point where I'm done with Final Fantasy, I might jump on that one. I might get a Portal, like one of those PlayStation Portals, the little handhelds. I might get one of those for like Christmas or something, and then I could just play in the comfort of my own bed, right? So that'd be my plan for that one. That's pretty much it. Just trying to I watched the WNBA draft. That was interesting. I watched the Knicks beat the 76ers last night. I was like, what? I've been a Knicks fan. Like that's my basketball team, but I've not really like I'm a fan because that's my team. I don't keep tabs of them at all because they always disappoint me. But I'm like, they doing the thing.
Yeah, they're number 2 in the East this year, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna make some waves, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like I see y'all finally. I'm not Spike Lee with it, right? But I'm still repping because it'd be easy to be a Toronto fan because it's right there, right? Like Buffalo, I could be a Toronto fan, but I was like, nope, I'm always gonna be a Knicks fan. So it's good to see him actually doing something. And that's pretty much it for me, man. Like, that's more than enough, to be honest with you. I pressure washed my fence, life of a homeowner, right? I pressure washed the patio because I got to paint that thing because the paint on the ground is starting to come up. And I tried to get the oil out of my driveway, and I failed miserably. I bought some stuff. It was like, it'll get it right out. I poured it on there, and it did nothing. The oil stain laughed at me. So I got to figure something else out.
You try kitty litter?
Oh, yeah. That's supposed to suck it out, right? Like, supposed to absorb it? I did not try that. I'm going to try that out. Because we had painters not too long ago. They did a fantastic job painting the house, but he brought his beat-up pickup truck in the driveway and spilled oil in it. And it sucks. So trying to get that fixed. But yeah, just boring stuff,
Life of a homeowner, right?
Life of a homeowner, right? In his 40s. Is what you talk about. But yeah, that's pretty much, that wraps it up for me. Unless you guys have anything else you wanna bring up, but just trying to get ready for the summer. Like I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about as the summer approaches. Right, the kids only have like here anyway. In the South, I think they have like a month left, maybe 5 weeks. And then my daughter will head off to college. Super proud. Junior will be a junior in high school, and then my youngest will be a 4th grader. So all those trials and tribulations, figuring out what to do with them during the summer, because they will eat you out of house and home. It's like, yo, I know you don't eat this much at school. Like, why grocery bill doubled? I don't understand.
You know, it's crazy. My dad used to tell me that, and I used to be like, "It's not that bad, right? Like, I'm not eating that much." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I got 2 boys too, and I'm like, "Yo, like, what are y'all doing?
You don't snack at school? Like, what are you doing?
What is up?" You know?
But yeah, and then just interested to find out, more news about you, Daniel. So hopefully we'll have something to bring up shortly. And thank you for joining us from the West Coast at super early in the morning.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, definitely continue to tune in, right? Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursdays, Ask a CISSP, where I'll have on Chelsea Pierre. Definitely check out last week where I had on Kane McGladry from Hyperproof. And then Fridays, more of this. Sometimes it's a lot more, sometimes a little bit less, but it's just a recap of what we did outside of our normal 9 to 5s. And then, just hit up all the websites that go by our name. It's either the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. Hit me up on all the socials. I'm on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, Threads, IG, Medium. Hit up, subscribe to the different newsletters we have on both LinkedIn and Medium. And then where can I find you, Daniel?
LinkedIn. Hit me up on LinkedIn.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.